What is going on, guys? Welcome to Comes Videos, and welcome back to my WTF series reviews, where I review something so bad that it's good, or something so bad you would much rather have a divine plate of dick cheese. Today I'll be reviewing See No Evil. Now this is clearly a fan request because I never heard of this. I hate horror movies, not just because they're scary, because I think they're total dog shit on production standpoint, and plus I don't feel the thrill of getting scared because let's be honest here. My heart is one cookie away from just going out, so I don't need help. It's a WWE production. And I have made statements in the past where I said these WWE stars trying to be actors, 9 times out of 10 are total shit at acting. And then I would get bitched out saying that WWE stars already are acting, even though it's like a completely different thing. Are they acting? Yes, but that doesn't mean they're going to be good on a big screen. I think this dude's name's Kane. Kind of shows. And people are like, he's the best part of the movie. I'm looking at you, Andy. Bullshit. There's no such thing as a best part of this movie. There just isn't. There is not legitimately one redeemable thing about this movie. Is it the worst? No. Did I get angry watching it? No. But with all the shit talking I have to say in the next couple minutes, I will give it this one thing. I've always said there's going to be like 2 to 3 different scenarios at the end of the movie where there's the innocent chick lives, a chick and her best friend live, or just a chick and some random dude. None of those. Congratulations, there's actually 3 people, a chick, her best friend, and a dude. So, and it's not the guy I would imagine surviving, so it's the douchebag. So let's talk about the characters really quick. Lack thereof, I should say. These characters are just terrible. Like, legit terrible people. Like, they're convicts trying to get, like, trimmed, like, a month off their sentence by working for 3 days at this hotel. And first off, the security for this is really shit because you got one security guard there who's got a missing arm because in the beginning of the movie, this cop lost his arm to Kane. I'm going to keep calling him Kane. If it's not Kane, I apologize, but loses his arm to Kane. And, yeah, now he's working prison guard duty and he's trying to help these kids get a second chance. And they could not be more regretful for him trying to give them a second chance. He's like, listen, guys, please don't prove me wrong on giving you guys a second chance. And every single opportunity that they could prove him wrong, they do. They're awful people. It's not because they're convicts, because I believe in second chances. That's just who I am. But these people literally spit in this dude's face, metaphorically speaking. It might as well be literally, because they're sneaking around trying to steal, like, there's these 2 people trying to steal a treasure that's hidden in the hotel because it was burnt down the first top 3 floors, top 2 floors, I don't know. And there was like this hidden loot that they never got to because, you know, it's a maze. That's not an excuse. Oh, but we know where the treasure is because it's a blueprint. I'm pretty sure the city inspector would have that. I'm not a government official, or I don't know how this shit works, but I'm pretty sure someone in the government in the city would have that. But no, a bunch of teenagers who were in prison got it, so that makes sense. I gotcha. There's that situation, and there's these people sneaking out, going to the penthouse to drink booze, whatever, you know, angsty teen shit. And the character development between these guys is fantastic. There's this one guy who's the survivor, is a total D-bag, and I get that. He is a douchebag. But every single opportunity they get to just, like, put this guy down, they do. Half the time he does deserve it, but the other half of the time he's just going around and they're like, look at this retard. Listen, I'm not using that. It's context. Context is key. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? And then he tries to, like, sexually assault this chick. It was weird. His character went a weird turn, so he's a douchebag. Then they were trying to make us feel bad for him because they're constantly just harping on him like it's a gangbang in a very not so fun way if you guys are into it. It's not the fun kind. And then out of nowhere, he's sexually assaulting this chick. And then out of nowhere, he's being the hero. He sees people getting, like, killed by Kane with a cane. It's like a little hook thing, fish hook. and he's like he's going in there like Captain America with an axe, swinging and shit. I'm like, I feel like there was supposed to be another character, but they cut that character out because there was too much screen time dedicated to that person. So he just kind of morphed the polar opposites. It's like morphing Batman and Superman into one. It just doesn't work, morality speaking. And then you got your stereotypical blonde, and she's just like, oh my god. And somehow, she's got a phone. And then the guy's like, how'd you get a phone? And she's like, from like Melissa, of course. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Melissa is also a convict, so how the fuck did she get a phone? There's a couple other characters, like there's a one with religious tattoos. I remember when she's taking a shower. I remember when shower scenes were supposed to be scary, and the reason why they were supposed to be scary when they were first filmed is not because, like, look, nude scene. It was because it's a character at their most exposed, literally and mentally, so they feel most vulnerable if they get caught with their pants down. Again, literally. So with a bad guy sneaking around there, it's very traumatic. It's very terrifying. But now it's just a reason to get a girl naked on camera. And then that's when the douchebag comes up. He's like, hey, let me choke you out. And then they call him bad words again. And then he leaves. I feel like this movie's biggest fault is a missed opportunity. Because they are building up this kind of revenge story, what it seems like, because this guy loses his arm, the cop loses his arm in the first literally 5 minutes of the movie, and we spend so much time with him now that we're still following him in the next part of the movie. He's in the hotel where this killer happens to be, because it makes total sense why he went from a house to a hotel, other than the same character arching from the beginning to now. Sure. And you would think they would build up this revenge story, but the second the dude finds out, it could be the same guy that cut his arm off, even though he shot him in the head. But apparently, normal human beings are not scary enough. You gotta add supernatural elements to it. I never got that, but okay, whatever. He's like, no, he's dead. I shot him in the head. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Just consistently, that's what everyone says. What the fuck are you doing? What the F this? What the F that? I'm like, wow, imagine getting paid to write the same shit, but with a different W in front. That's incredible. The second he finds out, he goes outside to find this dude, to get these people to safety, and just all this other shit is going on. Literally seconds after finding out, he gets killed. I'm like, so where's the satisfaction in watching this? There's no revenge plot now. These characters are total douche canoes. I wrote in my notes, they could be nuked right now, and I could care fucking less. And they tried to have the audacity to where this guy clearly was trying to assault somebody in the shower, and now they're trying to make him look out to be like the good guy. At the end of the movie, he's like, whew, I just didn't want to be alone. You didn't have to save us. He's like, well, I didn't want to walk out of here alone. I'm like, so he's the good guy. Wow. So on top of the revenge element, the next worst thing in my eyes is the character interactions. They're so 50-year-old man trying to write teenage dialogue. Because I don't know how old these characters are. They feel like they're like 15, but they look like they're in their mid-20s. And one of the actresses she looks exactly like the chick from Transformers 1, the one with the Australian accent. But anyway, like, their interactions are so ass. Like, again, when they're insulting each other, like, there's always these dumb reasons for these characters just to fight. It's just like, this guy would say something, again, the douchebag, I don't know their names, clearly. The douchebag would say something for the first time in like 10 minutes. And then this other dude would be like, yo, why don't you shut the fuck up? And he's like, bitch. The same douchebag chokes out the girl in the shower. Her friend comes and he's like, yo, what the hell are you doing? Pissed off. He walks away and he looks at them and goes, bitches. You're 25! It feels like a third grader wrote this and it's like, calls him a bitch. When someone calls me a bitch, I don't get offended. When someone calls me a dick, I don't get offended. When someone throws a slur at me, it's not that offensive. It feels more offensive when someone goes out of the way to not use a slur and calls me like Chubby McTeletubby tits. I'm like, wow, what a fucking douche. Because it required them to have brain cells to process information because they hate you that much. They would actually sit there and think of a clever insult. But he's like, bitch. And that's literally all the insults with all the characters. They just call him the R word, they call him a bitch, they call him a douche. I'm like, you guys have no insults. You guys were in prison, for fuck's sakes. I'm pretty sure you should come up with something a little bit more unique. One of my favorite elements in this movie is the justice to these characters, because every time there's a horror movie, specifically a slasher, there's always this very weird sense of justice being served, because they always have that douchebag character that's overly douchey and then gets axed off, and you're like, hooray! Like Jason X had it, even though they did it off screen, but hooray, he's dead. This guy went from the over-the-top douchebag to a hero and survived. So they hit that note, but they did it wrong twice. I give them props for being creative about it, but it makes no sense on why they did it that route. You know what I mean? If you're going to do something creative, make sure it makes sense. And then this one character that was supposed to be the innocent, the one who I thought was going to survive because they called her the innocent, and everyone knows the innocent chicks, like the Virgin Marys of the group, they are always the ones that survive. So I'm like, she's going to survive. She tries to feed a dog, and then the douchebag throws like a rock at it because it's a stray dog, and she's like, it's starving. He's like, I thought it was funny. It's a stray dog. Who cares? I'm going to be the hero at the end of this movie. Later in the movie, the same chick is actually trying to climb down the building to get to safety. She's like on floor 8, because that's where the majority of this movie takes place, is floor 8 for some reason, even though it's not the top, it's actually the second from the top. But they're on floor 8, and this guy's helping her down with some like bath towels and shit. She stops, and she's like, yo, what are you doing? Help me down. And then she starts going up, and you see it's Kane. You're like, I'm gonna get my greasy mittens on you. She's like, let me down. She kind of falls, like the thing falls up her waist, and then she kind of falls down and it grips on her ankle somehow. And then she keeps screaming, let me down. Then he smiles and then lets her down. She stops at the right time, but breaks her fucking hands. And now she's like, her bones are all over the place, hands jacked to shit. Like, I'm talking about, it puts Doctor Strange's accident to shame. And then the stray dog comes over, licks her blood, growls, and then barks, summoning his dog army of strays, and then starts killing her. Because justice. I get it, it's a stray dog, but it's the writers who set that up. And it feels very weird that you're going to kill the person who's trying to save the dogs by dog. It's like sending up a message like, how dare you try to feed a homeless dog? How dare you care for the strays? And I feel like I can harp on this with any horror movie, but again, the conveniences piss me the hell off. Because I just don't get it. Because, like, this is established as a normal human being. There's no supernatural elements really in this. This character goes into the elevator because she thinks there's kids in the elevator, and the elevator opens, there's no one in there. It's like, okay, I'm on the first floor, let me go to the second floor. Ding. Shit's number 2. She's going all the way up to number 8. Because that's where, like, a lot of the conflict's happening. I'm like, so you're telling me this bag of brain cells and chromosomes is smart enough to hotwire this thing to go from floor 1 to floor 8. If you hit any button, it's just going to go to floor 8? Bullshit. And then, like, wouldn't they have noticed this earlier? Like, you're telling me they all took the steps? So why are they not taking the steps now? Like, it makes no sense. This dude has traps set up all over the place so he knows where they're at. That's their excuse of saying, like, he's always at the right place at the right time because he knows. It's these fucking tripwires. that alarm bell so he knows what part of the building they're in. And they're going off consistently in the movie. Like, we're like, how's that happening? And they establish it like 30 minutes later in the movie. It's these tripwires. You're telling me they've been tripping on these fucking wires and being like, what the hell was that? Nothing, okay. And now they fucking hit it. They're like, wow, there's a tripwire. Maybe that's how he knows where we're at. I like how the one character who's gonna call the cops dies. I just always love that, how they're like, call the cops, and then they're the ones that die. No, it's actually not the truth, because it was the old lady who the cop told to call the cops, even though he should have been like, yo, radio, dispatch, I need help. But no, he had to play fucking Chuck Norris looking ass. What are you doing? You can call the cops. You're literally a cop. So if they hear that there's a cop calling for backup, and there's a killer on the loose, they're gonna just put a pep in their step. They're gonna just go twice as fast if a normal human being just did that. He talks to the one person who's in cahoots with this dude, who's actually a psychopath, which tells me, because this old lady is the one in charge of this hotel to redeem it, so it's for the homeless people, like save people, praise Jeebus, that whole thing. So you're telling me that these cops didn't do any background research, how she could have been connected to this killer, or did they never know who the killer was? You're telling me this dude could kill, I think they established that he killed like 17, 18 different people, so you're telling me they never established DNA? These guys are Christian lunatics. They're not fucking some Nolan-esque Joker crazy but smart villains. They're just crazy. She's like, yes, I'm with Kane, my child, my lover. I'm like 4'3". This dude's 7'2". It clearly works like that. Genetics, it's a fucking weird thing. God bless me, because my hips are forever destroyed. Kill this bitch because she's a sinner. And then she's like, sinner, she's a sinner. And she's like, do you see it? And he's like, I see it. Then chucks her across the room, impales her, and then this movie is just a series of dumb characters getting axed off, and it claims to be justice. Let's wrap up this review. The finale looked like a Mortal Kombat mixed with 2003's Daredevil. It's garbage. Like, the three of these guys finally do what any horror movie should do. Gang up on the fucker, start bashing him in, and like get these tools, these weapons, and start smashing the shit out of him. And they get this chair and they push him off the balcony. He falls down, and like there's this bat in his eye, and he's like bashing bat against the ceiling and shit like that. And it looks like Catwoman when she's going from like ceiling to ceiling, wall to wall. It looked like that. And then he goes boom, boom, boom. Oh, then right into a spike. And then dies or something. He died somehow. And then like when he falls, it does like the Mortal Kombat zoom in, and you see his heart getting like rib cage getting crushed, basically signifying that he's dead. Even though I think there's like 17 of these movies. I don't remember, because people watch this crap for fun. I don't get it. So that's this week's episode of WTF Series, guys. Thank you for the request. It is bad, but not soul-drenching bad. Well, anyways, guys, stick to the end of the episode to see what next week's review is going to be. Make sure you comment down below. Say what your favorite part was, what movie you should want me to review next, because I hate myself. So, yeah. I'm kind of stacked up on WTF Series right now. I got like 4 or 5 weeks worth of episodes to review. So if I don't get to you right away, it's nothing against you guys. Well, anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I have a Twitter, Gumps_videos. Go follow me there for latest news updates on my channel, guys. And make sure you support me on Patreon, patreon.com/GumpsVideos. $1 tiers for now on will give you exclusive content. And I'll be reworking the Patreon page to, like, just kind of in line with my new goals and my new tiers. So, but for right now, dollar tier is now permanently going to be exclusive content, so I can get a little bit more money raised for that computer. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and all that crap. Later, and goodbye. Peace.